Welcome to my party, we're just getting started. A life is a dream or a nightmare.
Well, I'm not exactly sure what's happening here just yet. Let me go ahead and turn that off. That is some weird old stuff here. So, I've been having problems with the internet all morning. Do me a favor, you guys, give me a comm check, 5x5, something like that. We can get this party started. As per all of your recommendations, I have switched over to tea, a giant cup of tea with honey in it, so we can keep the old voice box smooth and clean. Let's see. We're going to go ahead and take a look inside the chat. Cool Colt, thank you for the 5x5. I appreciate it. Looks like Cool Colt was on the YouTube side was number 1, Catitude was number 2, and Logo was deterred. Bob Peta, Bradley Collins, Catitude, Just sure. It's J Sauer 1990. I don't recognize you, Go. Welcome to the channel. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Good morning, Window Lickers here. Bradley, where we got here? Eagle Lover, West Virginia Pappy. And I am 2x4. I got you. I don't recognize you either. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And then over on the Rumble side, Andy, you are not the turd. You are first catitude number 2. And where are we at? All righty then. You are the turd. We got Hicktown Honey, Good Boys Guild. All righty then. And that's it. You guys are all talking to me. It always blows my mind that Rumble is so slack. It's not the people that are putting out, it's the people that are lurking. And I know there's some people like, I'm at work, I can't do anything, but I just don't understand. Everybody knows these things work. If you haven't hit that thumbs up button, please do. It does help the channel. And we shall be getting, I am says I'm sub. Perfect. Good morning, my friend. Brian Smith, good morning. And good morning to everyone as well. Andy Person says, lurkers. I mean, it's okay. It's absolutely okay to be a lurker. I am not saying don't. It's just, I would just love if you would just like hit the button one time and then I would never complain to you ever again. You couldn't take it personally. Okay, so happy Monday. I hope you all had a great weekend. Mine was not bad. Let's see here. Reading the dumb mail or the dumb news to get that out of the way. Congress may have reached a $1.66 trillion deal to avoid a government shutdown. The tentative deal will come up for a vote in the coming days. Colorado Representative Lauren Boebert had some kind of domestic altercation this weekend that police are investigating. The FAA says that it found the door that blew off the Alaskan Airlines flight on Friday, caused an emergency landing, and thankfully no injuries. This is really, really important. This one right here is really important. USA Boxing says that it will require hormone testing and genital reassignment surgery for transgender athletes to compete. So basically, if you want to fight as a girl, you got to get the chop. Let's see here. Australia has implemented a law to criticize the Nazi salute and other hate symbols. Guys, this is very, very dangerous because then all they have to say is, that's a hate symbol. 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 And then you go to jail. Let's see. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin was hospitalized for at least 3 days without notifying the White House. That's their way of saying it was actually 4. And oh, by the way, he was in the ICU. Told nobody except for the Assistant Secretary of Defense, who actually was on vacation and never left vacation. These people, this country is being ran by retards. Excuse my French, but it rhymed and it was perfect. Okay, let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and click a couple of buttons, and then we can actually get into this. As usual, I am a one-man thingamabob that keeps this show going. All right, so switching the screen up. I needed to double check it, make sure that we've got everything on there that I like to see. All right, perfect. So if you guys didn't know about this young lady right here, Whitney Webb, she is making, this article is from April of 2021. And she was on probably half of the major internet-based news agencies over the weekend. And the reason is because she wrote this article in 2021, and everything she is talking about has happened. Absolutely happened. We've all got cyber attack on our brains. We've all seen that name of that movie. What is the name of that movie we saw on Netflix a couple weeks back? Somebody put it in the chat so I can refresh my memory. Don't worry about it, Ken. You'll be okay. Someone else will come in right behind you. Let's see here. Josh says, but I like the shadows. Let's see. Okay, the Nazi symbol isn't bad, just the Nazis. Absolutely. In fact, it was actually used as, I believe, an Indian symbol, which meant something very positive. I am says, I love your name, I am, because you can like just add anything on it. It's pretty smart the way you've done that. Leave the world behind. Absolutely. Got you. Thank you, West Virginia Pappy. Thank you, Good Boys Guild. Lviv. Thank you, Major Ken. Thank you all for doing that. Let's see here. But things have come to a head in some aspects. I've actually contemplated, you guys, if you guys have been around, I used to have something called the threat board. And people used to ask me, so what's the highest thing on the threat board today? And it was all in my head because I do the reading every day. I do pay attention to the news. In fact, I was watching MSNBC this morning and saw something absolutely mind-blowing that is probably going to be what tomorrow's show is about. Not a joke. Not a joke. It was very poignant. It was very straight to the point. It was very accurate. It was very apolitical, which was super, super different from MSNBC's normal Orange Man bad stuff. So it got my attention. I've made some notes, and it'll probably be about tomorrow. What's Major Ken? What do you want, Major Ken? Why are you sending me personal messages? Major Ken is a Patreon, so I've got to look, and he's just sending me YouTube videos. I'll look at that later. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Anyway, that's right. If you're part of the inner circle, you get special attention. If you want that, there's a link in the description for the Patreon. If you join for free, I'll say hi, but that's really about it. Stop it, Ken. All right. So getting back onto this, where are we at here? The World Economic Forum warns of cyber attack leading to synthetic collapse of the global financial system. Now, when we think of a cyber attack here in America, we think about power plants, dams, electrical grids, sewage systems, and rightfully so. But that's not how you destroy America. That's not how you do it. That's how you create chaos, very similar to the Leave the World Behind movie. Okay. The way you destroy America is through its financial system, but a cyber attack, a synchronized cyber attack onto the global financial system would most likely, and this is a little bit of it's not actually, would most likely lead to the centralization of global currency. It would be an excuse to take this old system that we're using and just wash our hands of it and start off afresh. And if you know what I'm talking about, if you know what their next financial system is, do me a favor. Type it in the chat. It's 4 letters. I dare you. Let's see here. Not important. Okay, so go ahead. We're going to jump right into this. A report published last year by the WEF, Carnegie Cyber Policy Initiative. And this Carnegie thing is actually kind of important because if you don't know what Carnegie is, think about Carnegie Hall, think about the family name, think about money. Okay. You guys, some of you got it right. Some of you got it right. All right, let's see here. There we go, West Virginia Pappy. Let's see here. Calls for the merging of Wall Street banks, their regulators, and intelligence agencies as necessary to confront an alleged imminent cyber attack that will collapse the existing financial system. Well. I'm going to go ahead and make this bigger for you. That's what she said. Oh, yeah, there we go. In November 2020, the World Economic Forum and Carnegie Endowment for the International Peace co-produced a report that warned that the global financial system was increasingly vulnerable to cyber attacks. Advertisers in the group that produced the report included representatives from the Federal Reserve, the Bank of England, the International Monetary Fund, Wall Street giants such as JP Morgan Chase, Silicon Valley, behemoths such as Amazon. So, these are all these really big names that are really focused on world financial control of the money. Interesting. The ominous report was published last month. Remember, this was 2021. After the World Economic Forum had conducted a simulation of just such an event, a cyber attack that brings global financial systems to its knees, in partnership with Russia's largest bank, which is due to jumpstart that economy's transformation by launching its own central bank digital currency. Isn't that special? As recently as last Tuesday, which would not be last Tuesday, but it would really be some month in 2021, I believe it was April, the largest information sharing organization of the financial industry, the Financial Services Information Sharing and Analysis Center, the FSISAC, whose known members include the Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Citigroup, warned that the nation-state hackers and cyber criminals are poised to jointly attack the global financial system. The CEO of this organization had previously given the same warning, which was published in the World Economic Forum Carnegie Endowment report. Isn't that special? Such coordinated simulations and warnings from those who dominate the current ailing-failing system are obviously a cause for concern, particularly given that the World Economic Forum is well known for its Event 201. Event 201 simulation about a global that thing, and took place just months prior before that thing. Gonna sip a little tea right here. Voice is getting a little dry. The crisis, the crisis has then been cited as the main justification for accelerating what is termed the digital transformation of financial sector and other sectors, which that the World Economic Forum and its partners have promoted for years. Their latest prediction of doomsday event, a cyber attack that stops the current financial system in its tracks and initiates the systemic collapse, if it came to pass, would be the final necessary step requiring to bring about the forum's desired outcome. Let me read that again. Necessary step required to bring about the forum's desired outcome of a widespread shift to digital currency and increased global governance of the international economy. Well, isn't that special? Given that experts have been warning since the last global financial crisis that the collapse of the entire system was inevitable due to central bank mismanagement and rampant Wall Street corruption, checkmate, a cyber attack would also provide the perfect scenario for dismantling the current failing system, as it would absolve central banks and corrupt financial institutions of any responsibility. It would also provide a justification for incredibly troubling policies promoted by the WEF Carnegie Report, such as greater fusion of intelligence agencies and banks in order to better protect critical financial infrastructure. That's not scary at all. Considering the prediction of the WEF's past simulation and reports of the crisis, it is well worth examining all of their simulations, warnings, and desired policies. The remainder of the article will examine the November 2020 WEF Carnegie Report from a follow-up article. That's not important. So in these first few paragraphs, what have they really talked about? If you boil that all down to that nice, sappy, thick, oozy goodness of this pain that they want us to feel, this all comes out to control. And not just control, because you don't need law enforcement to be integrated or fused in a fusion cell to manage economics. You just don't. That means the use of force. The intelligence community infused into the economics would be to find these hackers. And okay, we found some hackers, but what else would you do? We already have so many things lined up. I mean, it's you really have to understand what is going on in the world. And if you don't, every single day we're under attack. Everybody is under attack. It's constant. I'm going to be showing you guys some of these live cyber threat maps. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of different ones. There's one that's really cool, but it's not great for video. It's really just cool to look at. And you can see the attacks happening all the time. This is not recorded. This is live. It is not Memorex. If you're old enough to know what that is, type 1 in the chat. If you are not, type 2. It does help. It wakes up the algorithm and says, hey, people are talking about this. Maybe other people need to come over here and talk about this real quick. These are very live things. These are very real things. They're very constant things. This actually, the one you're seeing right now is actually very, very calm right now. Something is actually going on between the United States and this place right here. Whether it's us, whether it's a state organization like a country, or if it's a non-governmental organization, or it's a hacker from this place, or it's a group of hackers from South Korea. It could be anything, but something is definitely going on right now as we speak. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go to the chat real quick and see what you guys were talking about while I was rambling on. Over on the Rumble side, and if you got anything to say, put it in there now so I can jump to it. Anderson says, or Andy says, I know the government has shat all over the Constitution, but there is no authority given them to track our spending. You know, absolutely. What you're talking about, Andy, is people getting scared. And when people are scared, they're willing to give up their freedoms, their rights, so that they can feel safer. It's very bad. We need to stop doing that, because the government has proven over and over and over that when, you know, it's like you guys, if you guys have known me long enough, you know that I kind of like the Romans. I wouldn't say I studied them, but I've read about them. And I've done some deep dives on certain characters within Roman history and certain historical events that happened during Roman history, because I truly believe that there is a solid mirror-like comparison between what happened to the Roman Empire versus what's happening in the United States today. And little by little, everybody was giving up their freedoms so that they could feel safe, so they could all, oh, it's so warm here under the government's umbrella. I would never want to be out in the rain or cold. Oh my God. And then the government, as usual, they can't put up, and then they shut up. They make lots of promises, and then, well, we gave you a stimmy check. You'll be all right. Don't worry about it. Go buy some potatoes. That's how the government works. And that's what you're really talking about when you say that, Andy. Let's see here. The government ever ran anything? No. Has the government? No, the government screws everything up. They screw everything up. You know, I think the only thing the government has screwed up in a long time, it actually happened either yesterday or this morning. I need to watch it just because I'm a fan. They actually launched the first public-private commercial moonlander. It was either early this morning or last night. The Vulcan is the new NASA rocket. It's supposed to take the Atlas and I can't remember the other one, take the place of those rockets. But it worked. It finally worked. They finally got it to work. Guys, they have been working on the Vulcan for about 20 freaking years. So that worked out well. It's on its way here in about a week. We're going to find out if it goes into the surface or if it works. But I believe that it will most likely work. So, but that's the only comparison that I would say where it's been a public-private interaction where it actually worked. When the government flat out, they even said it too in the article, that the government really screws things up, but the government is really good at raising money, your tax dollars, and then the private industry is really good at making things happen. So that's the only time that I'm aware of it actually being a good thing. I'm going to go to the chat over on the YouTube side real quick and see if we got anything typed in there after I just blew stuff up. Let's see. Window Liquor says, we already have CBDC. Your debit card, there is more digital currency than actual cash. When they put out cash, then we're screwed. 50-50, bro. 50-50. Here's what I'll tell you about the CBDC, the differences between CBDCs and your credit cards. The credit cards, that is a company. That is not the government. CBDCs is the government. Also, if somebody managed to hack your stuff, it hacks you. I'm going to say it. When they hack your shit, when someone hits your card, when someone hits your CBDC account, the money's instantly gone. Instantly, it's gone. Yeah, it's totally traceable, but it is gone. And if you think they're just going to let that money sit in an account, no, it's going to bounce from account to account to account, country to country. It's going to do that until it's untraceable, until they get tired of tracing things down. That's how they're going to steal your money. But it's gone instantly. With a credit card or even with your debit card, you can refute things and they will give you your money back. They will credit your account. With CBDCs, boop, bye-bye, your money's gone. That's the huge difference. Twin Arrow Survival, good morning. It says, it's all going to be bad. Just prepare for as much as you can. I believe you. Grumpy Acres Farm, good morning, my friend. Learn to barter now so you can thrive later. Absolutely. Somebody actually put a solid list of basic barter items in the Discord this morning. Absolutely loved it. Let's see here. I'm sorry, Mr. Patriot. CBDC is unavailable at this time. Grumpy Acres also says, I used to get weekly DoD cyber alerts. People would crap if they knew the true extent. Yeah, Grumpy, you remember the early bird? It still exists. Just go look for it. Let's see here. Let's see. Deborah says the El Phono service has been bad. I got you, Deborah. No worries. Welcome back. Welcome. Twin Arrow Survivals here. Good to see you, bro. What else is Window Liquor saying? Because he seems to be No, he's not. There we go. The same people who will decide what's your credit score, and credit score created over 30 trillion in debt. Absolutely. Guys, I was listening to something this morning on the morning walk, and in the last 3 years, it's like this scale, like slowly going up our debt, right? Oh, we're just going up little by little by little. In the last 3 years, boom, $6 trillion have been added to our debt in the last 3 years. Unheard of. It's absolutely ridiculous. Let's see here. Deb, I caught that. I've read between the lines. Deborah says, let's take our freedom back. We never lost it. We've given up certain things. But here's the thing, guys. Just say no. Just play the Nancy Reagan card. Just say no. Just throw it out like a ninja star. Just say no. Just say no. When people start to talk about these things, start sending emails to your representatives. Just say no. And when they don't listen, they got to come home. Oh, let's see. What's Andy Pearson says, West Virginia Pappy, they run everything in the ground with great efficiency. Hey, Bob, good. Bob showed up. Good to see you, Bob Clancy. B. Clancy. All right. Looks like the chat is full up. Do me a favor, guys. Type the number 3 in the chat to wake up the algorithm for me, and I shall show you another kind of cool map that will kind of blow your mind. Let's see here. And while you're doing that, this is actually my favorite one. Allow all cookies and share this instead. And you should be seeing this. This is one of the coolest maps that I've seen in a long time, an actual long time. You can actually see the amounts and the types of attacks that are actually happening. This thing actually used bad botnet activity detection. Show statistics. I don't want to do that. I've never seen that before. They've got us. They've got us. So this thing actually, believe it or not, there's actually terrain on this thing, and you can actually follow the signal. It's kind of more of a gimmicky thing than anything else. And there we go. We just caught one. We just caught an attack. There we go. And now those are that is some wild ass stuff that is happening. When you look at from the topo level, that is some wild stuff that is actually happening on those attacks. Let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and take control of this map so it lets me, so it'll stop doing crazy stuff. Let me find the USA. Let me find the USA. So there's Africa. There we go. There's the USA right there. So you can see the attacks that are happening either to or from. It's pretty mind-blowing. It's actually a pretty cool right now. There's where are we at here? Just the amount of attacks that are happening globally. It's just absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. Okay, so we're going to click back over to the article, and we're going to talk about the Carnegie cyber policy, which will probably blow your mind. We're going to click on this, and we're going to click on this and share this tab. There we go. Okay, so the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace is one of the most influential foreign policy think tanks in the U.S. with close and persistent ties to the U.S. State Department and former presidents and corporate America and the American oligarch clans such as Piffeker of Hyatt Hotels. Current trustees of the endowment include executives from Bank of America and Citigroup, as well as other influential financial institutions. Man, you guys noticing Bank of America, they are in everything. They have their meaty little paws, their bloody little hands in everything. Let's see. Cronin says, I just watched Ready Player One, so that thing fits. Absolutely. Let's see. Carnegie is always worrisome. Oh, yeah, exactly. They just keep giving money to people and things. But if you think that they don't have some kind of control, you are a fool. In 2019, the same year as Event 201, the Carnegie Endowment launched its cyber policy initiative with the goal of producing an international strategy for cybersecurity and global financial system 2021-2024. That strategy was released just months ago in November of 2020. That's right, it's an old article. And according to Carnegie Endowment, it was authored by leading experts in governments, central banks, industry, and technical community in order to provide a long-term international cybersecurity strategy specifically for the financial system. Oh, it sounds like they're trying to protect their way of life. They don't want CBDCs as a financial system. Oh, the government could be butting heads with the world banks. That's interesting. That's interesting. I'm going to take a sip of tea. Oh, yeah. The initiative is an outgrowth of past efforts of the Carnegie Endowment to promote the fusion. There's that word again, fusion, to fuse things together that don't need to be. Wait a minute. Financial authorities? What is this? What are they talking about? The financial industry, law enforcement, national security agencies, which is both a major recommendation of the November 2020 report and the conclusion of a 2019 high-level roundtable meeting between endowment, the IMF, and central bank governors. That's not shifty at all. The endowment also partnered with the IMF, SWIFT, Standard Chartered, and the FSIS-AAC, we talked about them earlier, to create a cyber resilience capacity building toolbox. They're making tools for financial institutions in 2019. That same year, the endowment also began tracking the evolution of cyber threat landscape and incidents involving financial institutions in collaborations with BAE System, hint, hint, the UK's largest weapons manufacturer. Per the Carnegie Endowment, the collaboration continues into the present. Well, In January 2020, representatives of the Carnegie Endowment presented their cyber policy initiative at the annual meeting of the World Economic Forum, after which the forum officially partnered with the endowment on the initiative. Isn't that special? Advisors to the now joint WEF Carnegie report include representatives of the central banks, including the U.S. Federal Reserve and the European Central Bank, some of the Wall Street's most infamous banks, such as Bank of America and JP Morgan Chase, law enforcement organizations such as Interpol and the U.S. Secret Service, corporate giants such as Amazon and Accenture, and global financial institutions, including the International Monetary Fund and SWIFT, the Society of World Interbank Financial Telecommunications. Other notable advisors include the managing director and head of the WEF's Center for Cybersecurity, Jeremy Jurgens. That was real first yawn of the day. Who was also a key player in the cyber polygon simulation. Guys, you guys need to research cyber polygon simulation. It's very important. And Steve Sibelstein, the CEO of Financial Services Information Sharing and Analysis Center. So, what did that paragraph talk about? They'll talk more about the integration of law enforcement, international law enforcement, and one of the key players in there was the U.S. Secret Service, which, by the way, has the responsibility of enforcing and finding and arresting currency or money laundering, and or what do they call it? What do they call it when you make your own money? Somebody put it in the chat. What's it called when you make your own money? Those are the guys that go put you in jail. It's their job. I'm going to go ahead and check the chat real quick here. Let's see here. I got nothing. I got nothing on the Rumble side. Rumble, you're slacking. 28 people in there, and nothing is happening. Counterfeit. Thank you, Tefel. Appreciate it. Tefel, technically, you are the last one here today, so good looking out. All right, and all of you on the YouTube side, thank you for blowing up the chat. Let's see. What's the website called? What website are you talking about, Kentucky Goatman? Are you talking about the last the map that I showed, the crazy cyber world map? Is that the one you're talking about? Because I will drop that in the chat for you like Mosh Coach. There it is. Check. You guys can play with that all you want. It'll break your brain. It is the real deal. This is the one that I think is kind of interesting. This one is actually put out by Bitdefender because they are in the business of actually stopping cyber attacks. I'm not a fan of putting that stuff on my computer. I think that Windows provides more than enough protection for my computer. I think that I have hit some malicious software or malware once in 20 years. So if you've been messed with, well, then you need to stop clicking links that are hooked to pictures of beautiful women. What do we got here? Window Liquor says companies, currency testing, CBDCs, Wells Fargo, Citibanks, HSBC, MasterCard, PNC Bank, Swift TD Bank, Trust, US Bank. Yes, they've been testing this for quite some time. But the thing is, the rollout for it would be unbelievably expensive for all of the small businesses. And is this part of their plan? If there was a massive cyber attack tomorrow, and well, hell, let's just say in March, if there was a massive cyber attack in March, and the government said the current financial system has completely failed us. It's too old. It's antiquated. We've got this new CBDC thing. Everybody needs to go to it right now. How long would it take for Walmart, Target, Dick's, Food Lion? How long would it take all of these big gigantic companies to retool to accept CBDCs. I would say much faster than Joe's barbershop can. Yeah. Let that one sink in for a little while. Okay, hopefully you're watching the cyber attack wars that are happening as we speak. This is not recorded. Look at the dates on the attack screen. Not a joke. Cyber attacks are very, very, very real. If you like what you're watching, do me a favor. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button, that like button, whichever platform that you are on today. It does help, and I truly appreciate it. Let's see here. We're going to go ahead and we're going to move on. We're going to move back to the article that we were reading, because at some point we're going to have to start getting into the meat and potatoes of this thing. Because like I said in the very beginning, shutting down our dams, our water, our power system, yes, this would create chaos, but this would not destroy us. Let's see here. Interesting choice of brands. Well, that's because they're all lefties, most of them anyway. Let's see here. So not a question of if, but when. The Cyber Policy Initiative November 2020 report is officially titled International Strategy to Better Protect the Financial System. It begins by noting that the global financial system, like other systems, is going through unprecedented digital transformation, which is being accelerated by that thing we cannot speak about. Malicious actors are taking advantage of the digital transformation and pose a growing threat to the global financial system, financial stability, and confidence in the integrity of the financial system. Maligned actors, those dirty malign actors, are using cyber capabilities to steal from, disrupt, or otherwise threaten financial institutions, investors, and the public. These actors include not only increasingly daring criminals, but also states and state-sponsored attackers, like the Chinese cyber army. Warehouses full of these little guys in camouflage uniforms, tippity-tapping with their blue gaming headsets on, trying to find their way into your back pocket. Following this warning of malign actors, the report adds that increasingly concerned key voices are the sound. That's a statement right there, guys. That is a statement. Increasingly concerned key voices are sounding the alarm. Is it? Who would be a key voice? I don't know. Wells Fargo, Bank of America, and just a handful more maybe are saying, we're alarmed. We're alarmed. It notes that Christian Largan of the European Central Bank and formerly of the IMF warned in February 2020 that a cyber attack could trigger a serious financial crisis. The year prior to the WEF's annual meeting, the head of the Japan Central Bank predicted that cybersecurity could become the financial system's most serious risk in the near future. It also notes that in 2019, Jamie Dimon and CEO of JP Morgan Chase immediately labeled cyber attacks as possibly the largest threat to the U.S. financial system. No, I'm not a ventriloquist. Not long after Lagarde's warning in April of 2020, the Bank of International Settlements Financial Stability Board asserted that the cyber incidents pose a threat to the stability of the global financial system, and that major cyber incidents, if not properly contained, could seriously disrupt financial systems. You mean destroy it, including critical financial infrastructure, leading to broader financial stability implications. Whenever somebody says something like this, I visualize that scene from Fight Club where they're up inside this building and they're looking and they're watching these buildings. Just over these buildings just crumbling to the ground. The WEF Carnegie Report authors add to these concerns that the exploitation of cyber vulnerabilities could cause losses to investors and the general public and lead to significant damage to public trust and confidence in the current financial system. It also notes, aside from affecting the general public in a significant way, this would impact both high-income countries and low to lower income countries, meaning the impact on masses would be global in scope. The report ominously concludes that, quote, one thing is clear. It is not a question of if a major incident will happen, but when. Well, so when will it happen? No one knows. No one knows. But there is talk within the economic sphere of influence this morning about the economy taken, well, not the economy, the stock market in general today have taken basically a 10% haircut no matter what happens, which would be hilarious because the market is so overblown. It's the massive bubble of everything. It's an everything bubble. So if they're talking about a 10% haircut no matter what happens, and if Janet Yellen gets cornered and asks, are you calling this a soft landing? And she goes, well, it seems to be. Then they're all full of crap. They all know what's going on, and they're all in on it. Let's go ahead and check out the chat real quick. Window Liquor says, so bank robbers won't be called bank robbers in the future. They'll be called hackers. You nailed it. And Good Boys Guild said it would take Walmart forever you still can't use Apple Pay or Cash App or find the stuff you need to get help in Walmart. But that just because it doesn't work for you doesn't mean it wouldn't work for them. Okay, let's see here. We're going to go ahead and push on over, and let's see here. Let's do the live cybersecurity attack map. We're going to go ahead and share that tab, and we're going to talk briefly. What is, it's and this is from Radware. So we can actually see the massive attacks that are happening globally. And one of the things that I personally worry about is like what's going to happen when it's, I guess for lack of better words, SHTF, and I can't get to my bank account, and you can't buy gas because at a certain point, cash will only go so far. I think it's just come down to making sure that you have some cash on hand for in the beginning when things go bad, and then ensuring that your cupboards are stocked. Water, food security. We keep talking. Those are the three things that I always preach. Water, food security. Let's see here. Let's see. Yep, Window Liquor. Okay, so we got nothing in the chat. All right. Well, then I'm going to move back on over to the article. And this is the one that we're going to end with. I've got another map I'll show you, but this is the one we're going to end with today as far as our talking goes. The key piece inside of this was ensuring control of the narrative, because God knows we don't want people freaking out. We don't want people to know that the world is ending and all hell is broken loose and that their money is worthless now. And by the way, if you've ever tried to burn real money, it's not a good fire starter. Another section of this report details recommendations for controlling the narrative in events such as crippling cyber attack takes place. The report specifically recommends that financial authorities and industry should ensure they are properly prepared for influence operations. Influence operations. If you're in the military, you know what that is. If you are not, then you might just put those two words together. Influence operations, or operations that influence how people think. And hybrid attacks that combine influence operations with malicious hacking activity, and that they apply lessons learned from the influence operations targeting electoral processes to potential attacks on financial institutions. Wait a minute. Influencing operations targeting electoral processes. That's interesting, isn't it? That little blurb that's in the middle of this sentence that doesn't really have anything to do with cyber attack. That's a little concerning. It goes on to recommend that major financial services firms, central banks, and other supervisory authorities, that's interesting, representatives of which provide advice to the WEF Carnegie Report, identifying a single point of contact. Number 2, which each organization to engage social media platforms for crisis management. Now, that's kind of important. That's kind of an important paragraph. Let me read it to you one more time here. It goes on to recommend that major financial services firms, central banks, and other financial supervisory authorities, representatives of which provided advice for the WEF Carnegie Report, identify a single point of contact within each organization to engage social media platforms for crisis management. A single point of contact is what they would call a liaison. And now we're actually talking about the connection of companies and organizations, because that's the purpose of the liaison. If you're in the military, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That's kind of scary. They're starting to connect those 1,000 points of socialist light. The report's authors argue that in the event of a crisis, such as devastating cyber attack on the global banking system, social media companies should swiftly amplify communications by central banks. Ooh, do you guys know what that term amplify means in the social media industry? Let me break it down for you. Social media guy, company, social media guy gets all the advertising stuff. So when he speaks, the social media company or platform that he's on amplifies or pushes it out to more people. In a crisis, they would amplify the banking organization and de-amplify the social media guy. Oh, wait a minute. What is that? What would that be? That would be going against free speech, because the social media guy might actually have something to say. He might actually have information, and his followers might be looking to him to give them some little breadcrumb of information that might calm them down. But what they're talking about is allowing social media companies to de-amplify him in an effort to get their voice out so that they can control the agenda. That is scary. The banks controlling the agenda? Wow. I don't think our founding fathers, well, actually, they did think of it. They just didn't know the terms that they were talking about. Oh, look, West Virginia Pappy. Censorship. Isn't that special? Okay, guys. I think the last thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and check out my last cyber map. This one is not that great, but it is real, and it is happening right now. Oh my God. Look at the cyber attacks. Pew, 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 pew. You got me. No, I got you. Guys, it's happening every single day. Remember what I said. Attacking our infrastructure, water, electricity, septic, trains moving. That is all equated to creating chaos. Okay? Attacking our financial system is what would either destroy, unplanned, if it was actually an enemy of the state that actually wanted to destroy the United States, okay? Then that's how they would do it. They wouldn't care about the water. They want to destroy our financial system. Or if it was planned, got the old tinfoil. One of these days I'm gonna have to break the tinfoil hat out. I don't break it out very often. If it was planned, then it would very quickly give our government or the world an excuse to go to CBDCs. And that is scary. All right, I'm going to check the chat one more time. Let's see here. Let's see. Grumpy Acre says, to quote the Arnold the Governor, screw your freedoms. Yeah, I think he was taken out of text when he said that, but I also think that he's definitely a Californiaite, and he's basically a socialist. Let's see. What about our weapon systems? What about them? What about them, West Virginia, Pappy? We are the weapons system. People don't understand that. People don't understand this. All this technology in the end means like nothing. People have to go against people. It's that easy. There have to be boots on the ground in order to win. So, you know, the whole Red Dawn scenario is probably, I don't know, number 9 or 10 on my top 10 freaking lists of putting them on the threat board. Let's see here. Andy says, I'm going to suggest anyone that looks to social media for guidance for anything serious is a sheep. Not really, Andy. Not really. And here's why. I understand what you're saying. I truly do. But social media is the internet now, and the internet has taken over as the primary source of information in the world, let alone the United States. People are getting, okay, and it's generational too. People are getting probably 80% of their news from the internet. That's the truth. That's the math. The mainstream media has been fighting for years to maintain their control of the news and agenda. And if you remember about 7 years ago, that's all they talked about. That's all the mainstream media talked about was how bad things were on the internet. You guys don't know what you're talking about. You can't be allowed to tell people anything because you're not a real news source. You're not a real media outlet. You remember that? And that's funny. That whole time thing 7 years ago. Angry media, angry mainstream media, orange man bad. Yeah, connect the dots, my friend. Okay, let's see here. Klaus Schwab, buddy said people will be hackable in the future. Yeah. When you let them put the chip in, they're gonna hack your chip and they're gonna steal your CBDCs, and you'll be no different than if you were carrying it around on a card. All right, guys, I think that's going to be about it right now. If you like what I'm doing, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. It's free. Don't forget to hit the like button on your way out the door. And as usual, stay safe. Have a great day, and I'll see you when I see you. If you're not a Patreon, I can't talk to you right now because that's where I'm going right now. Talk to you guys in the Discord. We'll see you there. Bye-bye. Buttons push.